everybody, and welcome back to Ultimate Sims Guides. My name is Taylor, for those of you who have never been here before, and in today's video we are going to be talking about some of my unpopular opinions about The Sims 4. Recently I made a video called 15 Things I Hate About The Sims 4, and you guys seem to really like that video. It got a decent amount of views for my channel rather quickly, so I was like, oh, let's make more ranty, just me talking type videos, because you guys seem to like those. You guys had a lot of opinions. That video is only about like a week and a half, 2 weeks old, and it has more comments than any other video on the channel. So I figured you guys like to discuss things in the comments. I can tell by all of the comments. So I wanted to talk about some of my unpopular opinions about the game. I just have one request, that you guys be respectful to each other in the comments. I did notice that some people were being rather rude to each other, which is not something that I enjoy seeing in my comment section, so please treat each other with kindness even if you don't agree with something that someone else is saying. The first one is actually that I love rabbit holes and rabbit hole events. So I know that this is going to be extremely unpopular with most players. I understand that. Most players that I communicate with really do want to spend like the entire day with their Sims and don't really like it when their Sims just disappear for a little bit, but I love rabbit holes. I do not want to go with my Sim when they give birth. I don't want to go to work with my Sims. I don't want to go to school with my Sims. I want them to just leave me alone for a few hours while I can like drag some dishes to the sink or play with another person who's in their family while they're at work or while they're at school. I just love rabbit holes, especially in The Sims 3, because you could click on things like restaurants and your Sims would drive to the restaurant if they had a car, and they would just kind of hang out there for a bit, but you didn't actually have to like go into the restaurant like and dine out. Like, I don't want to sit through an entire meal of my Sims eating dinner at a restaurant and have to have them talk to each other. Like, that's just, I don't know, that's just not my style of gameplay. So I would much rather just have people like peace out. Now, when university was announced, I saw so many tweets about people being like, I'll be so mad if all classes are rabbit holes, and I was like, I really want rabbit hole classes. I didn't like classes in The Sims 3 where you could like choose how your Sim was acting while you were there. It felt kind of pointless to me. I just want them to go to class and like leave me alone for a while. I usually use rabbit holes as a time where I'll just put it on 1 speed even though they're gone and just like go to the bathroom, go get a snack. Like, I just use it as a way to like have some me time instead of focusing on them. I really don't want any more active careers, and I want more rabbit hole events so my Sims can do things that will make them happy without me having to participate. I do not want to go. The second thing on this list is that I do not want a color wheel for clothes and build items. I understand that people that loved The Sims 3 loved the color wheel and of course loved Sims 3 gameplay, like that's a whole nother thing. But it seems like the color wheel is brought up all the time as a reason why The Sims 4 sucks, and I don't want it for a lot of things. I definitely want it for eye color, hair color, and skin tone because those things are so variable from person to person that you need tons of options, but I honestly don't believe that we need the option to make like a couch covered in flames because that was one of the designs in The Sims 3 that you could use from the whole create a style color wheel system. I really don't like having infinite options for my Sims clothing because some of the patterns were weird, and like choosing colors, sometimes you make it worse, and sometimes they don't fit into the environment because you chose a certain pattern and they just look wrong. I'm the type of person that gets like severely affected by decision fatigue, so I need things to be kind of easy for me. Like if I have to make 100 decisions in a day and they all are just like very stressful, I just don't like it. Like I am the type of person who will eat the exact same thing for lunch every single day for a month and not even realize I'm doing it just because it's one less decision I have to make. So if I have too many decisions of different colors and different things, like I hated Cass in The Sims 3 because of the whole create a style color wheel. I hated building houses in The Sims 3 because of it. It's just not something I want. I really do think that the swatch system works for clothing and works for build mode items. The only thing that would be nice is like wood tones, but even that, I really hope that the Sims team is listening and is going to fix the wood tone problem at some point. The next thing on this list of unpopular opinions is that Get Together is a top tier expansion pack in The Sims 4. Now, I have watched a ton of rating all expansion packs in The Sims 4 type videos, and a lot of the time Get Together is pretty low on the list, and I'm like, guys, get it together. Get it together. I'm hilarious, and you should all know that. Anyway. So I find that a lot of players sleep on Get Together. They don't give it the love and affection that it deserves. I think that there are a lot of really fun objects in Get Together that you can have in your homes that make it just a little bit funky. You know, we got the closets from Get Together, which can make any house look a little bit fancier, like having a closet. I don't know. Is it weird that I think that? I don't know. Anyway, but the best part of Get Together is the club system. I use this club system a lot in my personal gameplay. Some things that I use it for is things like homework clubs for kids and teens where they can have like other people come over and do homework with them. You can also use it just to make friends for your kids and teens because you can have anybody who's in that same age range just join on their own and then they'll come to your club gatherings and your kids can have like instant friends because sometimes in The Sims 4 it's really hard for kids and teens to make friends because there aren't that many just wandering around, especially teenagers. One of my favorite ways to use the club system is by having your entire extended family like grandmas and grandpas and uncles and aunts and cousins all in a club together and then starting a gathering and then them all coming over and like having a family dinner. It's so good. And it's really annoying to have to invite everybody over one by one. Also, the world that we got in Get Together, Windenburg, is the best world in the game. You can't even try to argue with me on that one. It is just fact. It's beautiful. It has different types of areas. Like you have the whole island area that's like a little bit more modern and then a bunch of like Tudor style builds. It has the most lots, I believe, out of any world in The Sims 4. And it's just really pretty. I also really like some of the Sims that are in Windenburg. Like, Windenburg is just number one for me. It's just so good. But yeah, I do believe that Get Together is definitely like top 3 expansion packs for The Sims 4, and anybody who doesn't believe me or doesn't agree is wrong. So, the next thing on this list is that I don't actually want an open world. The open world in The Sims 3 was great for some people. I understand that, but most players, including myself at the time, couldn't play it. Like, I couldn't play The Sims 3 with more than like one expansion pack installed because my game would crash. I actually had a laptop that melted. Like, the back of the computer got too hot and it started to melt and then was like unusable. And it was my university laptop and it wasn't that old and I had to get a new one and that sucked. But it melted because it couldn't handle running The Sims 3 and I didn't realize it was melting until I smelt it and it was disgusting. And I would say that that's a big part to the open world because it made the game run so slow and it was so hard for a lot of computers to run it. I would rather have a closed world and have more people have the opportunity to fall in love with this game that honestly means the world to me than to have an open world and it only be really playable for players who have really nice computers. I don't believe that you have to have the most incredible computer to play The Sims. I don't think that that's fair. I think that it really is great that they decided to change it from an open world system to a closed world system just so that more people can play, because the more people that play, the more friends you're going to have that play The Sims and you're going to be able to share that experience with someone else. I really would like to maybe have an open neighborhood system, even if you could like turn it on or off based on like how your computer works, just so you can go to your neighbor's house or like the park next door and not have to go through a loading screen. That would be nice, but I don't care about having to go all the way across the world. It doesn't bug me, really doesn't. The 5th thing on this list is that I believe that they messed up with Strangerville. Now, I like the Strangerville pack as a concept. It has really great build and buy items. It has some fun cast items. The world is really cool and it's like really unique and kind of beautiful. But if you watched my 15 things I hate about The Sims 4, you know how much I love lore in The Sims and how much I need more lore and more storylines and more things that tie into past games and like bring different characters in. And I think that with Strangerville, they really missed an opportunity to add lore. Okay, if you haven't beat Strangerville yet, you might want to skip a few seconds because it is like kind of spoilery what I'm about to say. But at the end of Strangerville, there's this, you're working through the Strangerville mystery, and at the end of the Strangerville mystery, you discover this giant mother plant, and you have to like get people to come help you kill it. Now, how was this mother plant not a Sims character? How was it not Bella Goth or Bonehilda or Agnes Crumplebottom? Like, how did they not take this opportunity to make it something? How was it not like a mutated cow plant? Like, I just don't understand why it wasn't something that's been in the game forever, or like a crazy llama or something, like something that ties back to all of the Sims games. I just wish they would have taken that opportunity to have it be something Sims related and not just this big plant. Like, could you imagine a cow plant that was like 4 stories, like 4 house stories tall and was just huge and like trying to eat you, but like, or a giant Bella Goth, and like that's where Bella really has been this entire time from The Sims 2? I'm just saying, they really missed an opportunity and it breaks my heart that they did not go for it. The next thing on this list is that The Sims 4 needs to stop marketing and stop creating the game for children. If you've ever played The Sims 1, you know that that game was not made for children, and it had a lot of adult and mature themes throughout. There was a cake that had a dancer inside of it. There was like go-go dancer cages, tons of adult-themed items. There was a vibrating heart bed. And I played this game as a child, so even The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 had a lot more items that could be seen as a bit more mature, but it's still okay because it's rated T for teen, so it was like, you know, it wasn't crossing that line too far, but it was still a little bit more cheeky than The Sims 4 is. I think The Sims 4 has become extremely family-friendly. It lost a lot of those adult-themed quirks that the game has had in the past and that you saw in The Sims 1, 2, and 3. Definitely in The Sims 1, that was the craziest game. If you really go back and play it in 2020 or whatever year you may be watching this video, it gets wild. I really want to find a way to get The Sims 1 on my computer so that I can just like have a good time. I understand that like from a monetary standpoint for EA, it makes sense to market towards kids because if you can get a kid hooked on your game as a child, they're going to be more likely to buy from you for the next like 10, 20 years. I started playing this game 20 years ago, so you're a perfect example. But I just feel like the game has become so watered down and so not quirky and weird like The Sims originally was because they're trying to market towards children. And it's just like, give me some weird adult-themed things. Bring back the vibrating heart bed. Just do some little stuff that will make the game feel more real to more adult audiences because a lot of older people play The Sims. I'm just saying. The next thing on this list is that I do not want preteens in the game. Now, a lot of you commented on my things I hate about The Sims 4 video saying that you want preteens. I understand where you're coming from, but I do not want a new life stage in the game. I think that it will take a lot of resources away from making the other life stages better. I think that it's going to take away a ton from children and teens, and we don't have that much to give currently. Adding a preteen stage is something that a lot of you talk about. I saw so many comments about it, but I just think that what they should do is make teens look like actual teenagers, like maybe like 14, 15, instead of making them look like mini adults. Like have them have maybe even their own cast items that look a little bit more teeny, maybe give them random acne, like make them feel more like teenagers instead of just having them have all of the options that an adult in The Sims has. I would prefer to have more things for kids to do, to make kids feel a little bit older if you want them to. Like little things like having crushes and going to dances and like all of the things that preteens could do, but have it in the child life stage. So you have that option of having them do like really childish things at the beginning and then like preteeny things later on. And also having more things for teens to do, like prom and all of that, so that you can have things that are just meant for teenagers so that they feel more real as well. I think that if they add a whole new life stage, it's just going to be watered down, it's just going to suck, and no one's going to like it. So I honestly think that it will just take resources away from the life stages we already have and make the game more complicated. The next thing on this list is that the welcome wagon needs to go. I hate the welcome wagon and cancel out of it about 99.9% of the time. I will just get rid of the welcome wagon because I do not want The Sims to force me to be friends with my neighbors. I don't want to be friends with my neighbors in real life because they're too close to where I live, and I just think it's weird to like, I don't want someone popping over to my house whenever they want. I don't want people just showing up at my house with fruitcake within minutes of me moving in. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't want your fruitcake. I don't want you to come to a house that I just moved into. If I want friends in The Sims 4, I will go somewhere and meet them or choose to actually talk to somebody who just shows up at my door at a different time. But I just moved in. I don't need you to bring me fruitcake. I probably don't like it. So just go away. The next thing on this list is something that has really been bothering me for a while, and the title of this one in my notes is Players Need to Chill Sometimes. So this is not about the game, it's more about people who play the game. So if you're ever on Twitter and you're looking at anything that any of the gurus have tweeted or just general Sims accounts are tweeting about, everything in the comments is really negative. Everybody is always yelling at all the gurus and sometimes the responses to some of the gurus' tweets that have nothing to do with The Sims drive me insane. Like, okay, one of the most active gurus on Twitter is Sim Guru Ninja. Everybody knows who Dave is if you're on Twitter and you've paid attention to any of the Sims stuff because he's super active. He's always responding to people. Just overall a great dude. There was once a photo of his dog, okay? He posted a picture of a dog and people were swearing at Ninja in the comments of this. Not people, I saw one person who was swearing at Ninja in the comments of the picture of his dog, saying that we needed, I believe it was about cars, being like, if you don't give us effing cars, like, da-da-da-da. And I was like, this is a picture of his dog. Like, something I don't think that a lot of players realize is that the gurus don't have to be on Twitter. They get the option to be on Twitter. They do it by choice. They choose to interact with the community because they care about this game and they care about the community. Another thing is that they don't make most of the decisions. So it's a big company, and like their bosses are the ones probably making all the decisions for release dates and content and updates and all of that. So the sim gurus are really given these tight restrictions that they have to work in, and they're just trying to make the best game they can within the limits that the company that they work for gives them. So I really do think that the gurus are pretty awesome people for the most part. I haven't really seen any negativity coming from the gurus because they aren't really allowed to do that most of the time. I do see a lot of negativity being slewed at the gurus, and if you really want something to change, you can use things like hashtag EA Listen. I know that a lot of people use that to talk to, like, directly to EA. You can @ the Sims account, the official Sims account, definitely, but just don't go into someone like Sim Guru Ninja or Sim Guru Frost and start just spamming them about stuff that they can't do anything about or they can't answer any questions about, because they are under like some pretty strict guidelines on what they're allowed to talk about. And the last thing on this list is that I'm not ready for The Sims 5. I have a feeling that a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this because I get a lot of comments saying like, oh, let's just throw away The Sims 4 and start The Sims 5. I don't think we're close enough to being done with The Sims 4 for The Sims 5 to make sense yet. There's still so many things that could be improved in the game and so many themes that have yet to be explored and that could be added. Like, The Sims 4 has some really big problems that would need to be fixed, and I hope the team is working on some of these fixes, some of the things I talked about in that 15 Things I Hate About The Sims video. But I really think that they should fix a lot of those issues before they go ahead with The Sims 5. I also think that the team should really take their time with The Sims 5 and make it the best that it can be and not just rush to get it out, because something went wrong in the development of The Sims 4 base game. Like, I don't know if it was originally supposed to be an online game and then they scrapped that and then we got what we got, but there were so many things missing that it just felt incomplete and bad, and I really hope that that doesn't happen with The Sims 5. Like, I honestly don't want to see The Sims 5 for at least a year or two. Like, I know that a lot of people don't agree with me on that. They want it now, but I'm like, no, please give me at least a year, maybe more. Just like take your time, make it good, and don't leave out things like toddlers and pools and ghosts. You know, like, if you look at the base game now, actually, James Turner did a video like a few months ago, maybe even a year ago, where he had an original Sims 4 launch edition, and he turned off all of his internet on his computer, installed the game, and played it originally the way that it was when it first came out, and it was actually kind of crazy. Like, when you see a baby turn into a child, crazy. Like, just all of the little things that we don't realize and kind of like take for granted now weren't in the base game. So I really don't want The Sims 5 if it's not going to be perfect. Okay? I'm not ready. But yeah, guys, that is all I have for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, let me know what some of your unpopular Sims opinions are in the comments. I would love to do a follow-up to this video using some of your comments and kind of talking about some of your unpopular opinions and maybe if I agree or disagree with them. That could be a lot of fun. But yeah, if you're not subscribed already, be sure to do that. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.